Welcome back to another episode of Bars and Beyond. I'm your guest, DJ Dante, and we have our hosts, DeMarco275 and Courtney Levette.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Art and the shine. Pick them out and find the hardest to climb. Pick the topic, we can debate and
Drop jewels,
tell you who best, who
made the hot news,
don't interviews.
voice to the street.
Yo!
Welcome to another dope episode of Bars and Beyond. DeMarco275.
I am Courtney Levette.
And we are back.
Yes.
We are back. We have a really, really special episode. We're going to go into the archives of hip-hop history on this one.
I like how you said that. The
archives, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's real. Some of the most, like, I would say influential artists of our time was in this era. And we have a special guest that has some insight and a special relationship with one of our favorites ever. So this particular guest I call him pretty much the quote unquote black Forrest Trump of the industry. I mean, Forrest Gump of the industry. He's done everything. He's been in all facets of the culture. But we're going to concentrate on the entertainment side on this one. So before we bring him out, we're going to pay some bills and we'll be back with you guys in a second.
Keep it live.
Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Art and the shine.
Almighty Mobile Auto Spa. We are a mobile-based car detailing company servicing the Atlanta metro area. This means we'll come directly to you and detail your car. No need to fight through traffic or wait in line. Our truck is equipped with water and power to get the job done right. When you choose Almighty Mobile Auto Spa, you're investing in quality and convenience. We offer a variety of detail services, from full exterior details to full interior cleaning.
It looks brand new. Like, I'm highly impressed. It looks really good. Inside it looks brand new. Okay.
We will thoroughly clean your car from the inside out, to the best condition possible. We offer headlight restoration and engine cleaning. Or maybe you need a wash and wax to remove minor scuffs and scratches. We even have a monthly maintenance plan to keep your car looking great every 2 weeks or monthly.
It's your boy DeMarco275, Mr. Good at It, because I'm good at it. Real good at these bars. So if you good at these bars, you got the lyrics, charisma, sauce, come holla at us. You got the guys behind us. Tap in at rbarcheck@gmail.com and let's see if your bars are up to par. Yeah.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Art and the shine. Pick them out. We find the largest to climb.
I've been waiting for you.
Yo, what the hell are you doing?
Serious? I paid for service, and I expect to get service.
You know you didn't say anything about crazy, right?
No, Bono.
It's our only chance.
Energy God!
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Art and the shine. Pick them out. We find the largest to climb.
We are back to Bars and Beyond. So with no further ado, we're going to bring our guest out to the show.
I'm so excited.
Man, this is going to be
gonna
epic.
be good.
It's going to be epic. So you guys, introducing Reggie Beamon. How you doing, brother?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Good. It's the song. It's the song for me. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Right,
She like everybody's brother.
Uh-oh. This is gonna get good.
It's gonna
Let
get
me.
good.
You sit back.
They even lying about elections. They lying about everything.
About everything.
Man.
They running for the truth.
Man, thank you for joining us, man. This is really a special moment for us, for our show, for hip hop. Reggie, just give us kind of a backstory on yourself and how you got into the entertainment business.
Okay. I want to actually say that I decided in 1967 that I was going to be in the entertainment business.
Okay.
I had an uncle here in Atlanta, Georgia, and when I came to town, he was like the man, and he did everything behind the scenes. He promoted concerts. He had a club up the street with his partners that they called Royal Peacock.
Oh.
They did that.
Wow.
He had a hotel and he had a restaurant.
Wow.
So he was in the entertainment, whether it was his food, his hotel, all of it, to me, was entertainment. And he always told me, you know, a lot of the cats that he booked, they got 15 minutes of fame. He says, behind the scenes, I get a lifetime. And so right then I decided at a very young age, even though I love sports and everything, I knew that I wanted to go into the business. And I knew I wasn't gonna be out front in front of the camera.
Right.
I really had no talent. So that's another thing.
Okay.
Well, it takes talent to be behind the scenes too, though.
Oh, it's a different type of
It's
talent.
a different talent, but it's a
you
talent
know what I'm saying?
nonetheless.
And I think that in my household, my mother made sure that I chose more so management than performing, because my brother was a concert pianist at an early age, and he was doing recitals, and he was going around, and he went to the best schools as far as music. And then my sister tried to follow in his footsteps, and my mother used to give her a hard time hitting them wrong keys on that piano. And so she's like, Reggie, you ready for piano? I was like, no, I'm good. I think I'll play football or something.
I think I'm gonna pass on that.
Right.
So again, I had opportunities to perform, and probably I may have done something, but that never was my passion. My passion was always helping people understand the business they was in, understand contracts, and make sure that they were set up in a right way. Because for so long, the music industry just basically, the way they would do contracts with black artists is they would put the check and the signature page right in front of you. And if I put a check in front of you, I don't care who you are, where you from, I put a check in front of you for $50,000, and you signing your name so quick you ain't read nothing. You feel me? And because you now getting the check. And I actually saw it happen several times, and I tried to explain to my artists even before we would go in what was in the contract, different stuff. But I'm telling you, I ain't see none of them sit there and read the whole thing. You feel me?
Right.
But they sure
read the fine print.
Let's get to the back page, man. We sign and we get this check.
That's a message. That's a message for y'all listeners. You young artists, make sure that if you don't understand, get somebody that understands everything behind that check before signing for it.
Yeah, because once you sign legally, I mean, you earn a professional contract.
That's a fact.
And it takes money to get out of them.
That's a fact.
You know?
Probably more money that you even have left after you spend all the money they gave you.
Or the grace of God. So then is when I knew that's what I wanted to do. How do you actually get to apply that as life goes on? Well, after I left college, I had the fortunate opportunity to work for an entertainment lawyer here. And he managed some of the top acts in the country. And he was also their lawyer. And his name was David Franklin. Shirley Franklin's husband. And the former mayor of Atlanta. And so David, at certain points of his career, he managed Richard Pryor, Roberta Flack, Cecily Tyson, Peabo Bryson, Charlie Singleton, Cameo. He had a lot of black groups, and our office was in the Omni.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So mainly what I did in the early days would go out and find groups. You know, and go listen to somebody and then come back and recommend it. So that's what I used to do. Get tapes from people, go to talent shows, go to
I was going to ask, was it like how, because, a lot of times we see it in the movies, like, y'all actually had to go to these different places. Like, you were doing real A&R work before, maybe it was even a real thing then. So, going into the clubs and the nightlife and finding people singing on the street, like that was...
I actually was on a recruiting trip of basketball with the team because we started looking at athletes too. So I happened to be in Memphis at one time. And I went to the spot this friend of mine asked me to go, and I swear I heard Anita Ward. And I came back and told David Franklin about her, and David ended up signing her as the management got her a deal, and she had one big song, Ring My Bell.
Oh,
Ring my bell.
Yeah.
So that basically, I consider a discovery.
Yeah.
Because I called him basically to let him know I heard this lady and he ought to check her out.
Wow.
And so that was my thrust into it, and basically it was on the R&B side. Okay. So I had never done nothing with rap. Even though rap started, really blowing up on the East Coast, and I was here in Atlanta, I didn't really know about the brothers from Compton doing their thing until it really hit. Okay?
So, I don't want to cut you off, but you're getting to something. But I want to preface this.
Okay.
Right, let's set the stage.
Okay.
Right.
Now, there's a huge group, and they were in Compton. And I want you to tell people who that group is and how did you end up meeting these people? Because I want you to jump into it without giving them the, I had a backstory
Well, first of all, before, I want to go to Andre Young. Okay. And the name of the group is NWA.
Right.
When we were growing up in Compton, we always had what we call sock hops and dances at parks. And then there was this place called Eve After Dark and Jifty's. And they used to rent it out to the teens to have parties. And Andre used to be the DJ, Andre Young. And one of my homeboys, he was one of the first ones to give Dr. Dre a turntable, some turntables, because he had a record store right on 135th and Avalon. And Dre would come in there in the back. He had a little room where the DJ could set up, so that's where he would do it. And then Dre had a little friend he used to always have with him. They met in school, and his name was Johnny Jackson. Johnny Jackson was a Mexican who did the Tupac album, All Eyes on Me.
That's
okay. Basically, he did a lot of the tracks on there, and I really believe he had a lot of music on Tupac. But Johnny was never part of NWA. So Dre, growing up in our neighborhood, was our DJ. Somewhere along the line, I guess he knew Cube. I definitely know he knew Yellow. And Eazy started coming around, and the next day, they formed this group, NWA.
Powerhouse group.
I really want to say they changed the way police and people looked at black people, young black men in the community. It was really cultural changing. It really changed the paradigm on how we were looked at, and it gave people a voice to feel like you could say something. Whether it was the right thing to say, it created a conversation that we're still having today.
Right, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And see, sometimes, and all of us have done it, when we've seen these horrible things happen on the TV, in our heads, we've said the same thing.
Right.
Okay? But they said it out loud. And it wasn't about all of them. It's never a broad stroke. All police. There were some rotten apples in every department. There may be one or two, but there was some in Compton. And Eazy and them may have experienced that. So they were really talking from a personal experience that resonated with young black men all over and women all over the country. And probably the world.
That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So I think what they did, just like any other major group who came along, they came along and changed the way people looked at you and me. And they realized that some of us had something to say. And if you listen to their lyrics, most of them, you can tell that these brothers had experienced something. Okay? And for me, I didn't really get into rap, be honest with you, until 1991.
Okay, what happened in 1991?
In 1991, I was working for a Malaysian bank. As a international finance manager. The bank is called Bank Bumi Putra Malaysia Berhad.
Wow.
It's the major BBMB. It's the major bank in the country of Malaysia, and they have tons of money. And they had an office in LA. So I was working there, and finance had always been my background from college and everything. So whenever I couldn't do nothing else, I could always go get a job at a company because I could work them numbers. And so I was on my lunch break one day in the Arco Plaza, and there's a Chinese buffet restaurant in there, and I used to eat there maybe 2 or 3 times a week and go in there. And this one particular day I was in there, and I had my suit and tie on, and EazyE got behind me and getting in line to get some food. So as we was scooting through the line, he's like, "What? You sure sharp, brother? Where you from?" And I said, "I'm from Compton, same place you from."
Yeah.
Oh, like, so you know who I am? I was like, "Yeah, I know who you are."
Yeah.
And I was like, "So what you doing in the building?" And he was like, "Oh man, I'm upstairs doing a deposition for Dre, you know, in the D Barnes case, you know. I'm up here doing a
The D
deposition."
Barnes, Yo MTV Raps. Do your research on that.
Yeah, and so he was doing a deposition for Dre with some lawyers upstairs. So he was taking a lunch break. So he said, "You know what, you gonna eat in here?" I was like, "Yeah." So we sat out and we ate together for the first time, and it was in a Chinese restaurant. And I want people to remember that Chinese restaurant, okay? Because it's gonna come back into the whole story. But so we sat and talked, and he asked me, you know, what I did. I told him. He said, "You ever been in the music?" I started laughing. I said, "You know, I've been in the music business for a while, right?" So I think I started in '79. So he said, so what did you do?" I said, "I manage." He said, "Oh, you manage?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I got about 20-some acts over there at Ruthless Records." He said, "Some of them have managers and some of them don't." He said, "Man, you ought to come over one day and see what we got over there, you know?" So I was like, "Yeah, all right, cool." So one day, I think I took off on a Thursday, and I went out to his office out in Canoga Park. Okay. So I went into his office, and I had I had my briefcase in my hand, and I was suited, you know, just like he met me.
Ready for business.
And boy, when I walked into his office, everybody got up and started running to the back.
Yeah.
And they
feel like the police
oh,
when you
yeah,
pull up
they,
in
they
the
like,
fans.
come on now,
It's
you
like
know,
12 to walk in.
it's like it's 3 years old maybe, but still, you don't know if the police coming.
Yeah.
And then I walk in with a briefcase and a suit. Man, they was like, "Yo!" So everybody ran into this one office in the corner, and all of a sudden, EazyE comes out, and he's just cracking up. He's like, "Man, you scared the hell out of my office. Everybody thought you was the po-po." You know what I'm saying, man? He's like, "So Reg," he's like, "Reg, you ain't got no hip hop clothes?" I was like, "No, what's hip hop clothes?" You know what I'm saying, for real? He's like, "Man, come on, man, we gotta go get you some Carl Canal or some cross colors or something like that." So a couple days later, he came by my house in Compton. He had his Jeep, and he picked me up. He took me out to the City of Commerce to the factory where Carl Canai and Cross Colors was. And they took us around and showed us the whole plant, and then they just started giving us clothes. And they just piled clothes on the shoes. We had the boots and everything. And I'm telling you, I was like Clark Kent. I went from the suit to the hip hop wear. And you know, there's pictures out here you'll see. I'm all of a sudden no more suits. I'm in cross colors. I got on some Carl Canai. You know. So I had the big jackets and everything. It wasn't be dragging the ground. I'm telling you. So EazyE's like, "All right, now you know it's comfortable. Now I can start introducing you to some of these groups." And the first group he gave me to manage basically was a group called Menage a Trois. 2 young ladies out of Compton, Tanisha and Makiba, and they were awesome. They were signed to Yellow. And then at the time, EazyE had just got distribution from Relativity. Because he didn't have it. When I came on, he was in between distribution deals, had just left Priority.
Priority was his first when he was a rookie.
Yeah, so when I met him at this time, there was no NWA, except for Ren was still with him and Yella was with him. Cube had left already, and Dre had left, and DOC had the wreck.
So they death row at this point. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's what he had left when I met him. And he was getting ready to do the song Real Compton City G's, which was a comeback song to Dre Day.
Real Compton City. And then you got a story about that. EazyE had been trying to shoot a video in Compton forever, but because of
fuck the police,
they wouldn't sign
the permits, and they wouldn't never even they wouldn't even let it get past the city council.
So how'd you help in making that happen?
Well, it so happened once he realized, which he discovered in our conversation, I was from Peru. You know what I'm saying? I knew he was a Crip, but you know, I'm in a suit and tie, and I didn't have anything on me that day that looked like Peru.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that just came out in our conversation.
Okay.
And so knowing that that's where I was from, he knew the mayor of Compton was from my neighborhood. And so he called me again, even though he was helping me with the axe, he called me to say, hey, Reg, I need your help. Because and Jerry and this guy named Marty, they can tell you all about it, but we got to get the city council to approve us being able to shoot this video in Compton. How you going to do real Compton City G's and film it in Burbank? You feel me? On Canoga Park. You know what I'm saying? Sure. That'd be like real Hollywood Compton City G's. Because that ain't Compton. So knowing E had to do his last video, which he didn't know it was going to be his real big last video at the time, but his big comeback video to Dre Day, because Dre Day was huge.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. And I don't care who we are, even on Ruthless, we parties to Dre Day. We might not do the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But we bumped and we partied to it. So let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying?
That went hard.
It went hard. That was a hit.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Man.
Smash.
Man, so through your time with Eazy, he ended up obviously getting sick. How was that for you, and how did that process, like how were you like as a friend to him through that situation? How did that work?
You jumped way ahead. Okay. So go back.
I was gonna say before he answers that, because that's deep, that's juicy. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's pay some more bills.
Absolutely.
Because we need to keep the lights on, because we gotta have this conversation.
Got to.
So, for you guys, keep it locked right here, because Reggie got a lot more to talk about.
Absolutely.
Listen, it's gonna be a good one, so we're gonna save that. But shout out to TPN, the Producers Network, all over Roku TV. Make sure you guys go follow them. But shout out to them for sponsoring this episode of Bars and Beyond. We'll be right back. Keep it locked.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine.
So if I go there, I skip a lot.
I've been waiting for you.
Yo, what the hell are you doing?
Serious?
I paid for service, and I expect to get service.
You know you didn't say anything about crazy, right?
No, Vano. It's our only chance.
It's your boy DeMarco275, Mr. Good at It, because I'm good at it. Real good at these bars. So if you good at these bars, you got the lyrics, charisma, sauce, come holla at us. You got the guys behind us. Tap in at rbarcheck@gmail.com and let's see if your bars are up to par. Yeah.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Part in the shine. Pick them out and we find the largest decline.
Almighty Mobile Auto Spa. We are a mobile-based car detailing company servicing the Atlanta metro area. This means we'll come directly to you and detail your car. No need to fight through traffic or wait in line. Our truck is equipped with water and power to get the job done right. When you choose Almighty Mobile Auto Spa, you're investing in quality and convenience. We offer a variety of detail services, from full exterior details to full interior cleaning.
It looks brand new. Like, I'm highly impressed. It looks really good. Inside it looks brand new, okay?
We will thoroughly clean your car from the inside out to the best condition possible. We offer headlight restoration and engine cleaning. Or maybe you need a wash and wax to remove minor scuffs and scratches. We even have a monthly maintenance plan to keep your car looking great every 2 weeks or monthly.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Art in the shine. Pick them out, we find the largest decline.
Man, that's a dope rapper that did that song. That's a dope rapper.
No intro, huh? Just straight to it.
I'm just saying.
Nah, welcome back to Bars and Beyond. You just heard DeMarco 275 on the intro. You gotta big up yourself sometimes.
So
I'm not mad at it. We still have Mr. Reggie Beamon in the building. And when we left off, we were gonna get into a story, but I think we should hold that because it's a little bit down the line. But let's go back because there's another artist, huge artist, that you were a part of his life. And I want you to talk about the story with Bone and how that all came about and how you were in his life as
You mean their life?
Their lives, excuse me. Their lives.
Their lives, because they are a unit.
They are a unit, you're right.
25, 26 years later, even though they've done several solo projects, they are still a unit. And just happy to be a part of, the early part of the legacy to me. Very interesting how it came to be because perseverance, you hear it all the time and people say, perseverance is everything. But it really turned out to be that for these young men. And when EazyE was out promoting the record, Real Compton City G, after, he had, did the video. And I want to leave because getting that video done was so important in his career. Because all those videos that you guys have seen over the years with NWA and all those different ones, even the DLC, all of those were done somewhere else. None of those were ever done inside the city of Compton.
Wow. That is
right? So even though their whole reputation was Compton, they did not do no videos. So even with Cube and Dre in the movie, they didn't film none of the movie in Compton until the end, the trailer. And you kind of know what happened there. But so for EazyE, coming back to Compton to do a video, it wasn't just the hurdles of getting over the politics and the city council and the mayor and the police chief. He had to deal with his homeboys in his neighborhood. With Kelly Park, who probably been waiting for years for him to come do a video so they can taxi.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna ask that if that was something that was always kind of in the back of their minds, like, because a lot of times rappers are unfortunately hit when they're at home, and that's when it hits closest. I was wondering if that was ever something that was in the back of their minds, like if we film this here, the potential of X, Y, and Z.
Well,
can
not so.
happen.
I don't think Eric feared for life or it never was that part. But you're going to have to pay homage. You know what I mean? You have to kind of go clear it with the right people and, and they give you the clear so that, the knuckleheads don't act up and take the cameras and everything. And then you have all these people who have never really been in Compton and spend time in Compton with these expensive cameras. And so people are a little scared, a little upset. Yeah. So when we went to go do, after everything, and I want to get in, just touch on it, but the mayor of Compton wants to kind of tell his own how it all came to be, and I said, that's fine. But the fact of it, ultimately, it was approved by the city council. Okay. And then I told Eric after that, because we was in an all-night meeting, I said, Eric, tomorrow morning, 10:30, we got one more hurdle. And if we get past this one hurdle, then you can do this video. And that was to go apologize to the police chief. Okay? You had to, because Huey Taylor, who was our police chief at the time, he was determined not to sign it. He even told me late that night, about 11 o'clock, he said, Beamon, I ain't signing that permit. And I said to myself, oh, yes, you are. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was going to take what Eric had to do that next morning to walk into that man's office and look that man in the eye and apologize and explain that wasn't directly at him or maybe his police force. For that matter, it was just something that they felt and they said it. Right. And so Huey accepted his apology and realized, he probably meant more to do more good out here than he had done, bad. So Huey signed his permit that day. Okay. And so that set everything in motion for real. Because you really cannot do a song called Real Compton City G's in Burbank.
That's a fact.
It's just not.
It don't hit the same.
It really, it lends credibility to the whole studio gangster thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the fact that he was able to do that, I think, put a stamp on his last EP that he happened to put out, and it validated. It was real Compton, real Crips, and real Compton City G's. It was real people in the video. It happened in every real Compton neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? He went around and filmed in it and brought everybody to it. People were out watching it, and it was a big thing. I mean, it was like one of your own coming home to do something.
Yeah, that's a good look.
So the mayor wanted to create a relationship, an ongoing relationship after that.
Okay.
And so that's where they stopped off. But eventually, I stayed on with Eazy because I started managing BG Knockout and Gangsta Drayster.
BG Knockout and I remember you saying that. So, when did Eazy find Bone and then you know,
connect? So, we went out on promotional tour for the record, Real Compton City G's.
Okay.
And so when they went out on it, Cleveland was on their promotional tour, New York. Chicago, they did a lot of Detroit, the Midwest cities. So when they were in Cleveland, BG Knockout and Drayster were on the initial tour, you know, everywhere they went. I think I caught them in Chicago. So Knockout said that every time they went to a record store, because back in the day you had to hit the record stores, so they said every record store they went to, these little 5 guys would be out there like, take our tape. And they had a whole album done on with a guy from their hometown. I'm giving some credit. I think his name was Stoney Burke. Okay. And Stoney Burke had them signed to them, and they had an album out called Faces of Death. This was their first record. I
remember hearing about it.
And it was pretty deep and good.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the tape they gave, the cassette they gave Knockout, because we told Knockout, go out there and see who the cats are, because they your age. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They were youngsters. They were teenagers. Yeah. So it made sense. So Knockout went out there and chopped it up with him, you know, and they gave him the tape. Well, when he brought it in, he gave it to one of my homeboys named Pat. So Pat eventually, you know, he's right there with Eazy. So eventually, you know, he gave it to E. E didn't literally listen to it till Chicago. Okay. And that's when I had flew into Chicago to meet him. And so that's when he had got it. He listened to it and he was like, it's good, but it's different. You know, it's like we ain't never heard nothing like it. Right. But in order for, you know, he was just thinking, well, maybe when we get back to LA, I'd call him up and give him a shot. And before he can call them up and give them a shot, they had put their little money together, whatever it was, and they caught the bus. They caught the Greyhound bus to California.
Wow.
And before you know it, I think that was that Tuesday, because we got back Sunday, that Tuesday, they was up in the office, sitting in Ruthless, all 5 of them.
Wow.
They was on a mission.
Yeah. So that, to me, that's personal. And Eric looked at me like, what can I do now? I can't send them back. Yeah. I mean, for real, bro, they done spent their last money to get out here so they can be with us. So he was like, I got to come up with a plan. Well, he started putting them in hotels. Okay. And closer down to Torrance in that area, you know what I'm saying? Because all the studios were down in the South Bay area where we usually worked. And so he would put them down there so they would be closer to the studio. And he put them in a studio that we hadn't used a lot. It was called the Black Hole. Okay. And it was in Hawthorne. Okay. And so he used that, locked that studio down, and just for Bone Thugs and everybody else, we had Auto Achievements, Kitchen Sink, we had different ones, but Bone was at Black Hole. And he put them in there and just worked, you know. He hired a few producers and that was it. He locked them up because he really wanted to get them out. And they were so new to the West Coast with that sound. Right. West Coast people set on them in the beginning. Okay. They didn't know. It wasn't, you know, the thumping like we like that bottom, you know what I'm saying? And it just didn't have all of that. And so he was like, the record is good. We liked it and people liked it, but how do we get the general public to like it? And I tell you the magic of marketing, the box, y'all.
Legendary.
The box used to make people, I think No Limit blew up off the box. I mean, every time you looked up, somebody was on there and they was just blowing up. Right. Well, Eazy just, you know, decided to go to the box. And use them as for promotion for the Bone. And when they did that, it put them out in the country because everybody started seeing them. And the first record was a hit. You know,
And what was their first single?
Rugged Stugged Bone. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, it was a hit, and people knew it was a hit, just like we knew Crossroads was a hit.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that was them. They went and did their thing, and so they had just came back from New York on a promotional tour after the big record, and then right before first of the month. And so they were out there with Eazy and everybody, and that's where people say they saw Eazy get sick. During that time when they came back to New York, people saw him coughing more and everything. So when he did come back to LA, BG Knockout and Drayster were never signed to Ruthless. Okay? They just did records with him. They were signed to Outburst Def Jam. So even though Eazy was getting ready to do a record with them when he got sick, it wasn't on Ruthless. The record was on about to come out on Def Jam. Okay.
That's a good look.
And he got sick in the studio, so he wasn't able to do his verse. And if he had did his verse, it would have changed that whole song. But he never got to do his verse because he didn't get his breath together. Okay. So that's basically how everything came together at the end when he got sick, is when he came back. He just had, if you be around somebody a lot, you see him cough sometime, and then he smoked a lot of weed, right? You didn't eat a lot, and you stayed up a lot. Right. So yes, you can break down your immune system or anything, but to go all the way to the extreme, I just didn't see that. Right. And I was around him a lot. Okay.
Now, can you expound on what you're saying here? Because it's really nice. It's in a pretty little boat, but I want them to understand kind of what you're saying about his lifestyle and how he got sick or why they said he was sick.
Well, I think they probably thought he got, you match people up with stuff based on what the perception. So because just like him and Mac, because they ever known they slept around or they had girls everywhere they went, they matched that up with AIDS. Yeah. That don't go together because there's a whole lot of brothers out here that have slept around and they never got no parts of it. Yeah. And their Magic's still living and Eric's gone. Yeah. And so you have to ask yourself, what was really, really, really going on? Then this man had 9 kids at birth, at death. At death, they thought it was 9 kids. We come to find out there's 11 children, okay? One here in Atlanta, and then another Eric in Compton. So now it's 11 kids. We talking 9 baby mothers, with the girl that married him at the hospital having 2 children, being pregnant with one of them during this whole crisis.
And out of all of them baby mamas, how many of them have HIV/AIDS that you've heard about?
None.
So any of the children, they don't have anything,
none.
Nothing contracted?
None. So those are things that people have to ask themselves. How does something like that happen? And you can go through conspiracy theories, or there were some things that really happened or didn't happen. And so for me, being there with Eric at the end, seeing Eric, knowing, what I did know, I was just always perplexed on what really, really was happening. But I knew that if I left, I'll never find out. So at the end, when he died, his wife and her team fired 20-something acts, 28 acts. What? Eric had 31 acts signed and about 9 producers. Wow. So they got rid of everybody, including will.i.am.
will.i.am was on.
Oh yeah, will.i.am was signed to Ruthless.
What?
And Eric had groups. I mean, he had some stuff, but he was also looking for distribution. Right. That was key. When he left Priority, no record label was going to take no record company with 31 acts. They didn't need all that. Right. First of all, they couldn't put all that out. Right. But he had acts that could have gone out and done some things, but he had to go out first and set the tone, because it was almost like a new Ruthless after everybody left, y'all.
Right.
Okay,
Sure.
for real.
Like a whole new.
I mean, it really was. It was a whole vibe, and he had to go back out. That's why he came out with his EP to set the tone and introduce, the world to new people, because he really did want to do a whole new thing. And his goal in the beginning was to Knockout was going to be his main dude.
His main guy.
Yeah, he wanted Knockout bad. And to be on his label, and he wanted Knockout just to be a part of it.
Right.
He saw himself in Knockout.
Knockout. So how long was it from the time, he start coughing on the East Coast and you start noticing stuff until he actually passed? Was it like a really fast
that
process?
was in December when he came back. He died in March 26th of 95. So we talking 3.5 months. And so in the studio, so like I said, when we was in the studio, he came to do that for us, right? And so he knew that. And if he had did it, it would have changed Knockout and Draster's whole album projection, because now Eazy's on the first verse, you know what I mean? Exactly. And he had his natural following, which was always going to give him about 3 or 4 million records sold.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's
a fact.
So
that's a fact.
So at that point, I just think that, so when it wasn't going to go the way it was, he saw Bone, Thugs and Harmony, as the saving grace for Ruthless. Okay. And it turned out to be, that's who they were. Because once they hit. They hit. You know what I mean?
They hit.
And so, and I'll let them tell about their rise. But they were the most interesting 5 little cats I've been around in a long time. They are some of the toughest cats I've been around, because I've been with them in a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? And so, I would tell you, so even after Eazy died, they were in Cleveland. They did not want to come back to LA. They were confused. They were like, what happened? What really happened? So I had to kind of tell them different things, and I tried to explain as much as I could to them. But the main thing, I wasn't going to let them just be out here by themselves. And so Lazy knew that. And everybody wanted them. I believe probably Jay Prince wanted them. Probably, Master P might have came at him. But I know Russell came at him.
Right.
Because I took your cousin and some more cats to Cleveland. And we went to Cleveland because Russell had brought the whole tribe. And everybody knows everybody. He brought Leon Cohen, he brought Kevin Lyles, he brought Chris Lighty, he brought David Bivens, and he brought himself. And they all came to Cleveland to get Bone Thugs and Harmony.
They was gonna get Bone.
And Russell had a $5 million number on the table.
And this is right after Eazy passed.
This is after
So they swooped in.
Oh man, they swooped in.
Great time, huh?
And Lazy was like kind of confused, because this is Russell Simmons. It's Def Jam. And you done been with one giant on this side, but here's another one on this side. So, and Lazy was more like, kind of him and Crazy, I would say, handled most of the business aspects, and then, the whole group. But so Lazy was torn. And so I told Russell right off the top, I said, Russell, Bone's going back to LA. And he said, why you say? I said, because the same deal you offering them, they got on the table from Ruthless. So it doesn't make, why would they take the same money from you when they got the same money from the situation they already created out here? You feel me? And I said, and at the time that they signed their contract, it was only 4 Bones that signed the original contract.
So it was 4 Bones, so which one was incarcerated?
Fleshbone was in jail at the time. He was incarcerated. So Fleshbone being incarcerated at the time of the contract was signing was not on the original contract. But he's still always a Bone. So we could actually take him and sign him to Def Jam. And so I called his manager right away, which at the time was his brother named Gary Ballard, who was just in the documentary. And Gary worked it out, I guess, with Def Jam and got Flesh signed to Def Jam. So once Flesh signed to Def Jam, then they were able to do songs with Bone Thugs and Harmony and their brother, because, they family. So that's how Russell was able to get Bone on some records.
Oh, that makes sense.
It makes sense. So, features.
Oh, so he was supposed to drop a single or a solo album so he could put Bone on it.
Oh yeah, doing features with his brothers and them and the rest of them.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so it worked out good for everybody until Russell invited us to his annual Christmas party. And I mean, I'm telling you, in New York, everybody that's somebody in the industry at that time was there. Okay. And I'm talking Puffy, Biggie, you name them there, all the Wu-Tangs, all the individuals from the Wu-Tang, from Raekwon, Ghostface Killer, and everything. And so when we came in, Russell had us a little section like this, already set up on the side at his party for Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know, kind of welcoming them all into the family, showing them the love. So we had our own section, a little bar, and they had all the Cristal for them, you know. So it was just me and one of my homeboys and Bone and 12 of their friends. Okay. And so you figure it's 5 of them plus 7 other friends. Right. And we having a ball, and all of a sudden it's about 11:45 at night. And the next thing I know, Ghostface and one of the Bone's cousins is squaring up. And the next thing you know, they start fighting. The Wu-Tang and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, they were throwing
Oh, you mean
down.
at the party?
At the party with everybody in here. The party really, you know, New York party don't really get going 12, 1 o'clock.
Facts.
We talking 11:45. This is Russell's annual, excuse my hand, Christmas party. So that party's getting ready to be over. And so they stopped it, kicking everybody out. Our limo not coming back till 2 o'clock. It's 30 degrees outside. And so we standing out in this cold, and it's like real true. I'm standing in front of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I got all these brothers behind me, but I'm standing in front because I don't want, you know, I'm looking at all them, Jam SJ and all of them, and I'm like, man, y'all, we from Cali and Cleveland, we ain't from out here, and we just not gonna let y'all treat us like this. And so it was very interesting because I find the right one, and I was like, man, come here, man. Y'all, you know, we out here by ourselves. Y'all we supposed to be your guests. Right. How y'all gonna treat us like this? And then, you know, when everybody coming out, they was all at him. And I remember on the way out, Biggie was at the bar. And he was like, he didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And West stopped. And he was like, Biggie, this ain't right. We ain't from the West Coast. We from Cleveland. And y'all shouldn't be treating us like this and everything. You know, so they were hot. You know, they were hot. But I said to myself right there, I'll probably go to war with these little brothers anytime. Man, come on, man. We walked out of there. And none of them really had no bumps and lumps, and nobody was bleeding or nothing. But I'm telling you, they was flying. I looked up and I was sitting on the sofa and I seen Lazy flying over me with a Cristal bottle. I mean, he was flying in the air. And here come Busy. Yeah, they was flying around with Cristal bottles and Dom Perignon. They were clocking folk. Wow. I was like, man, these boys are something else. So I was like, yeah.
Classic story right there.
So a lot of people don't know about it. But yeah, that really was tough, because it was always tough to go to New York. You know what I'm saying? And especially with that West Coast at that time.
Oh, well, so as far as the Big situation, were you there for the Big and Bone collab for the Notorious Thugs for the Life After Death album?
Okay, very big question. Let's pause it right there because we're enjoying this interview. I know you guys are enjoying this interview, but we're going to pause it right here and we're going to make you guys come back for a part 2 because Reggie has so much more to say, so many more stories to tell, and I know you don't want to miss it. So make sure you guys go follow us on all of our streaming platforms at Bars and Beyond across the board. Hit us up at TPN on Roku TV, the Producers Network. It's all black. Check us out. And of course, follow me, your girl, at it's not at I am. It's Courtney Levette, LAVETTE _. And of course, my guy over here,
DeMarco 275.
Yeah. Make sure you guys go tap in with us and come back for part 2 because we also got a special bar check and you don't want to miss it. Keep it locked right here. It's Bars and Beyond. We out.
It's Bars and Beyond. The stars is aligned. Sports, relationships, and rap. They said it would be hard to combine. Part in the shine. Pick a mountain, we find the largest to climb. Pick the topic, we can debate and drop jewels. Tell you who's best and who made the hot news. Dope interviews, the voice of the streets. Who got bars, who on point with the beats? Who leveled up, the most lit celebrities. Keep it one stack, who don't fit the pedigree. The rumors, advice, don't ignore the red flags. The misery is real, yo, the hate spread fast. Who to go, who been ballin' for the chip? Tune in, facts, y'all all in for a trip. It's Bars and Beyond. Tune in.